This episode is brought to you by Carbon Health, and you guys know Carbon Health. I talk about them all the time. So excited that they're one of our sponsors. Now, they're known for their over 120 locations that handle urgent care and COVID, RSV, flu testing, vaccinations, all that. But we should also know is how they expanded into primary care services that also include connected health. Connected health is the idea it's not just about our bodies, but it's also about our mind. Carbon Health providers come connected with mental health specialists as well. They expanded their primary care services in 2023. They're now in Massachusetts. It's great. We love them. We're excited to be working with them, continue to work with them. So Carbon Health, excellent urgent care and testing center, but don't sleep on their primary care services. Hey, everybody, what's going on? I'm back. Thank you for joining me here on The Big Thing. There's a lot to talk about already. We had Marvel's Secret Invasion trailer dropped, the newest series coming out in June, apparently, on Disney+. Talking about comic book stuff. How about Blue Beetle, the DC movie with Xolo Mariduena? The trailer dropped, and we had it back-to-back. So what do we think about both of those? We'll get into that a little bit, too. Martin Scorsese is back, and apparently his newest film is 75,000 hours long. So we'll see if that's the move they want to take. Extraction 2, or whatever the hell the movie is called now, Chris Hemsworth's, the Russo brothers movie, the one I saw on Netflix a while ago that I think I liked. They're doing a sequel, and that's coming out also in the summertime. Wrestlemania thoughts. We'll be going into those. There's a massive sale of the WWE with to Endeavor. So we'll get into that. And there's more. There's Dungeons and Dragons did really well. All that and more, guys. There's so much to talk about today, and I'm glad that you can be with me while I do it. We're going to be back with the crew this week. And speaking of the crew, now look, I've talked about this forever. And I'm really hoping, like this is one of those things where it's really, we got one shot to do this. If you're anywhere near the California area on April 28th and you can get here, come see us live because this ain't Schmoedown budget. I'm taking one shot here. If it sells out and we do well, then I'll keep doing them because we got this thing coming out on Friday, April 28th. That's where the whole crew's going to be. And you can get tickets at thekristianharloff.com. If you can get there, I understand. Well, I'm in Chicago. I can't get there. I get it. If you're anywhere near and you can be there, please be there. Support the show. It's going to be a fun show. There's going to be stand-up comedy, and then there's going to be a full podcast afterwards. And if you are on the East Coast, well, guess what? We're going to be there on June 23rd. Tickets are on sale now, and it's myself, Brett, Kate, Winston, and Coy, all doing stand-up and then launching into a podcast right afterwards. And that's at the New York Comedy Club. Again, if you want to support the show and you can get there, people say, oh, when are you coming to New York? Well, we're coming to New York. So you can get the tickets now. Let's show them what we can do. New York Comedy Club, let's sell us out. And speaking of that, the next night, Saturday, June 24th, graphics off, Double Toasted, Martin and Corey, my buddies, myself and Mark Ellis are reuniting. All of us are going to be doing stand-up, and then we're going to do a full podcast with the four of us. So we really hope that you can join us on all those. You can get tickets. You just head on over to the website, thekristianharloff.com, thekristianharloff.com. You can get tickets, and you can buy live streaming tickets as well. And we have everything. We're moving everything over away from Patreon, and we're going towards the website. So you can head over there, and everything is managed just by myself and PLD, thekristianharloff.com. Check it out. You can register today for free. You just look at the tiers and see if there's stuff on there that you want to get. And that's it, everybody. I'm excited to get going. Let's talk about a lot of the things that I missed while I was gone, but I'm ready. You're ready? Let's do it. All right, it's the big thing, everybody. Go. Welcome back, everyone. Big thing. It's nice to be back, I'll tell you. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. My ass kicked. My oldest had gotten COVID on she was doing a play. Some kid puked on her bag. We knew it. It was the kiss of death. We tried to avoid it. She recovered pretty well. You know, she had a couple of days that was pretty rough for her, but she recovered. I was like, okay, we're going to avoid it. I didn't avoid shit. I got hit bad. Real bad. It was like couldn't even move for like 2 days. I avoided this thing for like 3 years. So I was laying in bed and head was pounding the whole time, shivering like an asshole. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's finally going to start to go away. Everyone's like, don't worry, after a couple of days it goes away. Well, yeah, it went away. And then I developed a bronchial infection, and that was great. Still there a little bit, but not too bad. But man, and then my wife got it. It was rough. It was rough. That's why I didn't do shit on this channel really. Minus like I think I did one Mandalorian like immediate reaction, and that was it. But thank God for the crew. Crew really held it down while it was gone. I mean, Winston and Mike on Friday, and then Roxy and Brett did the Thursday show, and Steph and PLD held down Sith Council. So thank you to everybody, all the support people had were firing in there. And I did a poll. I watched a lot of stuff, and I said, out of these 4 things, what didn't I watch? And I put Rambo 3, Creed 2, Pretty Woman, and Dexter New Blood. And everybody thought that I didn't take Dexter New Blood. And somebody smartly said it on Twitter, like, that's too random of a choice for you to not have watched it. And you're absolutely right. It was Rambo 3. I didn't watch Rambo 3. Everything else I watched. Of course I watched Pretty Woman. You kidding me? But I watched a bunch of stuff while I was kind of oofing. And one of the things I watched that I just fell in love with, I'd watched an episode and a half of Shrinking, and then I watched the whole season. This show is next level. Harrison Ford, I'm telling you, man, and this isn't just hyperbole and just, recency bias and all that. I think this is his strongest performance. I mean, obviously the iconic roles known for Indiana Jones and Han Solo. I think this is one of his strongest performances ever. It's such a great blend of drama, and it's a great blend of comedy. He is hilarious. This is the funniest he's ever been. He's been funny and stuff before, for sure, but he's hilarious in this show. And he doesn't do it by being like a clown. The character is funny. The character's, and he plays off his grouchiness. The entire ensemble cast is next level. They all play off each other so well. You can tell, I mean, it seems like they're having fun. And I think it's transferring over. Ted McKinley from Married with Children is also in this. Great. I really like the balance of it. It doesn't just seem like, oh, they're going for the joke. It just seems like this is what these people, how they talk, and they're all hilarious. And the themes of loss and love, and I mean, there's so much going on in this show, and it's outrageous at times, and there's something I want to quote from Harrison Ford, but I don't want to give it away. I rewound the line like 7 times. It was so funny, but he gets to do, it's progressive to the show. Like when you start, meaning the tone of the show keeps getting more and more, like when it starts off where Harrison Ford is in it, I'm like, oh, okay, he's going to pop up here and there. He's in it significantly. He's like a major character in the show. And Jason Segel, obviously, is his character is what it's centered around. And he's going through a loss and trying to, reconnect with his daughter. And he's in the same thing. He's trying to recapture being a therapist and learning new ways to connect with his clients. And he does it, and that's like the focus of the story. But then as it progresses, you start to see more. Each character has their own background, their own story, their own motivations, and that's what I think makes a really good show. Is that when it doesn't just have to rely on the one character. It was great. I couldn't stop watching it. That one I couldn't stop watching. Dexter New Blood I did watch, and the reason why is I'd watched an episode. I was a big Dexter fan back in the day. I'd watched an episode or 2 of the new series, and then it was one of the first things I watched when I couldn't move, and I was watching Dexter. I didn't mind the ending. I know people lost their minds on the ending. I think the ending was significantly better than what they did the last time around. I think it played fine. And it was enjoyable enough. Is it anything to write home about? And should everyone be talking about? No, it's pretty predictable, and the same type of things that they've done in the past. But it was what it was. I enjoyed watching it. Pretty Woman speaks for itself. And then I guess over the weekend we can just get into this right away. Let's talk about it. I watched Wrestlemania. I watched both nights. and I watched the first night with my daughter on Saturday. Well, both my daughters. The little one was getting into it too. I thought this was a great show. I thought night 1 was better than night 2 personally, but I thought it was a great show. I really did, and I haven't been I've been kind of tuning. So people, if you're new to this or not too, I was a massive wrestling fan for a long time. Worked at the company for a little bit. Took a long time off from watching, and then when we created the Schmodown, I started getting a little bit more. At the time, the WWE Network was still around, and I would look into it for like kind of past stuff and research and learning the new characters. And I said, okay, a lot of this stuff was good. And then I still thought when Vince was in control of creative, it was getting sour, and they weren't focusing in a lot of the long-term storytelling, and titles didn't really mean that much. My two big criticisms, what I just mentioned there, are pretty much gone. They give the title reigns a little bit more oomph to them. And for people who are going to, what do you care about wrestling for? It's not real. Well, neither is Succession. Neither is The Mandalorian. It's not real. It's a TV show, and it's characters. Just because they're pretending that they're doing storylines and stuff too, who cares? I never understood that when people were like, "Oh, it's not real." This isn't 1987 when they're trying to pretend that it's a sport. And that's when that used to come up. People used to go, it's not real, right? Like in 87, because they presented it like it was a sport and it was real. So that argument was valid if you want, like, hey, do you know it's not really real, right? Of course it's not real now. It's sports entertainment. We know that. So let's get past it. You either like it or you don't. You don't have to like it. But don't be silly. We go, oh, it's not real. Anyway, they set this thing up at SoFi, and I'm watching night 1, and I've been kind of casually tuning into Raw, and I'll go through and I watch like the storyline aspect of it and see what's going on. I thought they built up so many different storylines well to where you cared about the matches, and they weren't just kind of thrown together I thought the Asuka and Bianca Belair was kind of thrown together at last minute, and it didn't have that much impact for me, and it was fairly predictable. I think what they should do is they should set up eventually doing what they've done with the teams titles and doing what they've done with the with the singles championship or the Roman Reigns. He's got make it an undisputed championship and do the same thing. I know they did it once before, but do it again with Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. Let them fight. And what a match that was between Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. That was just. Am I going to say it's on par with Savage and Steamboat and The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels? No, but they people are going to talk about that match for a long time. That was a fantastic match, and it was, again, a good story on how they built it up and the stuff that had kind of come in Rhea Ripley's past and how she got there. And I thought that what they did with Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and the Usos, there was a reason that match was the main event, and it should have been from the way, because you're invested in the way that they set up that entire story and the way that you're emotionally involved in it, that it means more. And because they were the champions for over 2 years, whatever it was, it means more when they're dethroned. And that's the same thing that kind of happened with Roman Reigns and Cody. I thought it was a brilliant move. I thought it was an absolutely brilliant move to have Roman Reigns go over again. I think it was a brilliant move. I think that nobody was expecting Roman Reigns to win. Everyone thought that Cody Rhodes was going to win. I think that the way that they did it was smart. I think you got Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens involved. You keep the bloodline storyline going, and you keep that air of like, who the hell is going to beat this guy? And then you wonder the what if he's going to beat Hulk Hogan's record. So I thought it was a really, really smart move. They keep this guy on top of the company. You piss off some people because you think that Cody's going to get it, and he doesn't. I thought it was a really good main event. They played it up really well, and I thought that there was a lot. There's some matches that were just okay, and poor Shane McMahon blew out his quad. That sucked. The Finn Balor match I thought was also great. The fact that they kept going after he bust his head open with the ladder. That Gunther guy, I'm all on board for that guy, the Intercontinental Champ. I think that he's great. And he's old school. He reminds me of like an old school kind of like late 80s Attitude Era also you could fit into there. The way that he's got a Steven Regal thing about him, but he was great. And that match was really good too, the Triple Threat Intercontinental. So there's a lot of other things I'll tell you this, and then I'm going to move on. Logan Paul. Am I a fan? Am I a fan? Am I a fan of Logan Paul, the person? Not really. I don't know. I've never had a conversation with the guy, so I don't know. Some of his antics in the past, am I a fan? No, not really. I respect the hell out of this dude. For not stuff that he's done. I'm not talking about the shit that he's done in his past. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that this dude, not only, you can say whether you think it was fixed or not with, and he was easing back with Floyd Mayweather. I don't give a shit. He still was in there and threw hands with Floyd Mayweather and still got himself to a place where people care to watch him box. That's part one. Part two is, like, there have been celebrities who have wrestled before, and you're like, okay, they got to carry him. This dude is jumping off the top rope, going through tables, like, and it doesn't look like, Johnny Knoxville doing it. This dude's an athlete, and he put on a really entertaining match with Seth Rollins, and what he has done and the way that he has kind of sold himself as a heel inside of it, you got to give him tons of credit. I think that he did a fantastic job building himself up, doing what he did. You don't have to like the guy, but what he's done inside the WWE and the way that he's gotten there and putting on entertainment matches, I give him respect on that. And that's it. That's kind of my breakdown of Wrestlemania. I'm so curious for people out there who saw it, if you dug it, if you enjoyed it, let me know. And then what happened? And right after that, we get a trailer for Secret Invasion last night. There's a lot of trailers coming out now. Secret Invasion, and man, this is the kind of tone I've been looking for. I've been looking for this tone from Marvel, and I like the idea. I saw somebody make a valid point where someone's like, hey, why aren't the Avengers in this? Well, they didn't have the budget for it. Maybe. But I like the idea that we're getting kind of the nitty-gritty Nick Fury. This kind of reminds me of like what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. could have been if it wasn't on ABC, right? And like it seems darker. It seems more serious. The idea that Nick Fury is coming back to get to Earth and seeing like all this stuff that has happened, and there's this invasion coming in. And I just say, like, I don't know if these are new people or people who have been here before. I said at the end of the trailer, because I really like the trailer a lot. At the end of the trailer, I go, I don't like the arms thing, right? Like, I'm just a little kind of overdone, like, after seeing, like, Quantumania and seeing a lot of these movies. And again, yeah, I didn't mind Quantumania, but I think one of the biggest problems is that the over-the-top spectacle at the end, getting away from the story of it and just throwing in all this CGI, and it got messy and chaotic and all that. And they do that a lot with a lot of the, not just Marvel movies, but like a lot of times they just, people just want to see the big CGI stuff, so let's do CGI. And it overcomplicates the story, or takes away from the story, rather. And so I mentioned, okay, well, I'm just a little over the CGI stuff and the comic booky big endings and stuff. And I'm hoping that this wasn't I'm just hoping it was somebody random. They're just like, he says he's tired of the comic book stuff while watching a comic book trailer. It's like, no, that's not what I said. What I said was, I'm over the idea that you have to just go all big with the big CGI all the time when you can focus in on a story that people care. And I think this trailer showed that the trailer it was serious, and there's more stakes to it. That's the stuff I want to watch more so than Squiggly Arms Magoo. And I know that apparently that's what he's doing in the comics, and maybe they make it work. It could be great. And then someone else is like, oh, relax, the arms aren't that bad. I didn't say that you didn't like it. I said that I had an issue with it. Never said that, oh, you know what? You don't like this. You right there. Yeah, you don't like this. You think you do. You don't like it. Then you say, fuck you. I didn't say that. I said that I'm getting tired of it. So don't tell me to relax. You relax, as my 5-year-old says. I said, relax. You relax. You relax. And enjoy it if you do. And if you love the CGI, great. If you think that they need more of it, that's amazing. Then you should talk to me in the comments and say, hey, I'm sorry you're not liking the CGI of it. I like it. I think it looks good. I thought the arms looked amazing. What didn't you like about it? And then we have a conversation. Don't tell me to relax. And the same thing with the oh, you don't like comic book movies. Just stop it. And this is what I've really loved about this comment section and this audience, is that you guys can have conversations with people and just say, okay, look, I don't agree with you, and I'll tell you why. You don't tell somebody, talk to people the same way you would if you're sitting across from coffee with them. Like if you're in the middle of a coffee conversation, you're like, "What'd you think of the trailer?" I liked it. It was pretty good. I didn't like the squiggly arms thing at the end, though. I think that it was. I think I'm getting a little tired of that. Oh, just relax. What? I'm drinking my cappuccino. Nah, relax. Whatever. But I think the trailer looks good. I'm excited about it. I think Emilia Clarke looks really good. And I think that it's really smart of them now as they're pushing back the how many they're releasing. So really good idea, because you'll get Guardians in May, you get this thing in June. They push the Marvels back till was November or December or something. Smart move. Pace it, as opposed to just every month now, and then you're anticipating the next thing. So this was a good move. It is a good trailer, really good trailer. Sam Jackson looks great, and I'm excited. So, what do you guys think? Did you like the trailer? Did you not like the trailer? Let me know. I'm excited to find out. And if you don't like it, relax. And then today we get Blue Beetle, and we knew this one's coming out in August. I had the opportunity of having Xolo Mariduena on the show. Xolo and I have been buddies since the first season of Cobra Kai. And I interviewed him back at Collider. One of my favorite people working today. He is he's a just down to earth, funny, charming, good person, and I root for him. And I root for him even more with this one because he got me more interested in this story from when he was on. If you haven't seen the interview, it's on the channel and I'll link it. But he got me excited about it. He told me kind of it was like a mixture between like Iron Man meets Green Lantern, because I had said it, I even said in my trailer reaction, it's got you can see the Spider-Man feel as well. But it kind of stands alone. And I had mentioned a few times how the suit almost looks like the Guyver, if you guys know that one too. And I liked what I really liked about the trailer was the idea that even though there's some familiar things that we've seen before, you're always going to have familiar tones in a lot of these comic book movies because there's just been so many of them. But the idea is, can you do something with a brand new? Because it is pretty brand new. I mean, people who are hardcore comic book fans, like Coy Jandro, probably knows a lot about the history of this character, and Mike Kalinowski, same thing too. But for me, I only knew from what Xolo had told me. So I liked the idea of seeing the leaning in on the family aspect, but also this kid who's just trying to find himself in the world. And as he does, he's kind of chosen by this alien race to, it's kind of like a Venom thing too, because the aliens are pretty much finding his body for as a host to harness these powers. And I loved the idea that it's coming out in August, and I still have that question. And somebody, rightfully so, kind of going over my previous point, it says something like, I'm just bummed that we have to, the way that we look at movies now is that we're not thinking, oh, this looks like a really fun movie. The question comes, well, what does it mean for the future of the DC universe? And even though I understand that sentiment, a lot of times that you should be able to just watch a movie as watching a movie, but the DC is in a different place right now, and you're trying to think can you just enjoy it as a movie, as a standalone? Absolutely you can. Look, I liked Shazam! Fury of the Gods, and I think that it plays fine on its own, and I think that movie more people will discover on streaming and things too, and realize that it's a fun movie. But there is an argument to be made that what does it connect to? What does it mean? Because it's been set up that way for comic book movies, like it or not. It just is. And with the way that this is going to play in and the struggles that this movie has ahead of it is not only what does it mean, where does it fit in? More of it's an unknown property, and people are, well, so is Guardians. Yeah, but Guardians was also connected to a bigger. If Guardians comes out as the first movie in 2008, I don't know if it does even it close to what it wound up doing. I'd pretty much make a massive bet and say it wouldn't. But this movie is not really linked to anything minus the fact that Batman's a fascist. And people getting up in arms that he said that. It's like, what are you talking about? Is this his dad, his grouchy dad, saying something about Batman? It doesn't really mean that DC thinks Batman's a fascist, guys. It just means that character is making a comment about it. You ever have parents that say things that are politically, you're like, what are you talking about? That's all that joke was. And anyway, the idea that this movie that's more of a question. Can it stand on its own? Can it stand on its own? Well, I think that Xolo is a star. He's got the chemistry. He's got the charisma. He's got that thing. So what I hope is that this movie does really well, and because it's not necessarily linked to Shazam, it's not linked to any of the Snyderverse stuff, it's not linked to any of that. If it does well enough, James Gunn can find a way to write this movie into his DCU. That's what I hope happens. And I hope that it's a good movie, obviously, but I hope that it plays well, and the fact that it comes out in August, I liked what I saw here. Curious, did you guys like it? What'd you think? Did you get a kick out of the trailer? Some people said, I saw people saying it was mid. Some people said that they really liked the charm of it. What say you? Let me know in the comments. All right, before we move on, I want to tell you guys about our sponsors, both Sunday and Athletic Greens. It's been cold here. It's been cold, but it's starting to get warm. It's right around the corner. And I like hanging out with my kids and my wife in the back and with the yard, and it's one of my favorite times in spring. And Sunday Lawn Care makes it so much easier. If you guys love spring, you got to figure out, how do I take care of my yard? Everybody's been at the store going, what do I do? How do I start? Sunday Lawn Care makes it easy. Sunday is everything that you need to get the lawn that you dreamed of. So if you go this spring, you go and head on over to getsunday.com/bigthing and you enter your address, you get a customized plan created just for your lawn. There's no trips to the store or hauling heavy bags since they ship straight to your home. You just need a hose to apply Sunday. That's all you need. You can fertilize your whole lawn in less time than it takes to watch an episode of your favorite TV show. Sunday is easy and affordable. Some lawn care services cost more than $1,500 a year, but Sunday's full season plan starts at just $109. Sunday is now offering our listeners 20% off. Full season plans at just $109, and you can get 20% off, but you got to use that code getsunday.com/bigthing at checkout. 20% off your custom plan at getsunday.com/bigthing. Don't be confused anymore. Don't stand at the counter and the shelves looking at everything. Just get Sunday. Getsunday.com/bigthing. Athletic Greens, baby. AG1. You guys know I talk about them all of the time. For me, it's the same stuff I've been telling you. I wanted better gut health. I wanted increased energy. I wanted immune system support. I wanted all of it. I'm not a big vitamins guy. I didn't like taking all those pills and stuff. I just wanted one. You take it. I put it in a water bottle. I shake it up in the morning, and I'm good to go. It's not very easy for me to keep up with that supplement routine that comes with a bunch of different products. It's like you got to do this, you got to do that. You just take everything in one shot. Helps me better with energy. It helps me better in general. I think it helped me to recover, to be honest with you. Why take a bunch of different things when you can just mix one scoop of powder and water once a day? It's that easy. I love it. It's just part of my daily habit now. If you're looking for an easier way to take supplements, Athletic Greens AG1 is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. You got to go to athleticgreens.com/bigthing. That is athleticgreens.com/bigthing. Check it out. You guys know that I love it. You guys, I've seen so many people telling me that they've signed up and they're loving AG1. Continue to do so. Tell me after you sign up, let me know. Use that code, athleticgreens.com/bigthing. All right. Thank you to our friends over at both Sunday and Athletic Greens. I always say this to you guys. Like, people ask all the time, how do you support not only obviously coming out to see us at the live shows where we perform, but sponsors are crucial to this operation. Crucial. But it's got to be something that you guys like. And with everything coming up with spring here, you know, the Sunday lawn stuff is pretty great. And Athletic Greens, I mean, how many times I've told you guys over and over and over about Athletic Greens. And I have people coming on here all the time talking about Athletic Greens and how wonderful it is. So help yourself. Help the show. Get one of our sponsors today. Everything is linked in the comments on the top of the page. All right, let's talk about Extraction 2. The trailer came out today. And so the first movie, I remember watching it and saying, that's a fun movie to watch. And that was it. I don't remember a lot of it. I just remember he died at the end. And now he's not dead. And this is a kind of a creative way. There's really no trailer. He's kicking the shit out of people the whole way through, but they tell us inside of the trailer, hey, remember you thought this guy was dead? Nah, he just got really hurt and he fought himself back. And now we're asking the question, why did he fight back? And then he's beating the piss out of people. And sometimes you just need that. And that's what this movie is. And it's also, I think, shows tremendously in what the film business is today, where a movie like this in, 2010, this comes out in the theaters. There's no world where this doesn't come out in the theaters. This is a smart move that a movie like this is coming out on streaming. Because there's just too much competition for what, and the reasoning why you go to the movies now. I don't think a movie like this would succeed in the theater. I think because you have a lot of movies like this and a lot of movies that are streaming like this, that this is something that you watch on the couch and say, hey, this is a new movie that just came out just for Netflix with the Russos and Hemsworth. Like the first one, what do you got? And I think it just shows what the business is today. There's certain things are changing though tremendously inside of what's working and what's not at the theater. And I think people are getting excited for some other stuff besides the Marvel and DC and Star Wars stuff. I think people are starting to get more excited for other movies inside of the theater, and you're seeing ones that are starting to pop. And Dungeons and Dragons is one of those movies. All right, Dungeons and Dragons. This is from Dark Horizons, the throwback fantasy action comedy Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves is a very well-received adaptation of the famed role-playing game. It rolled and it won in its worldwide debut this weekend. So both Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez star in it. It took in $38.5 million from North American theaters in its opening weekend, coming in line with the top end of expectations as opposed to beating them as overly rosy predictions indicated yesterday. So internationally, it made another $33 million from 58 markets. Total of 71.5, and ticket sales are remaining strong. So John Wick also took second place with 28.2. Let's see. Then third was Scream 6 at 5.3. Then Creed 3, and poor Shazam! Fury of the Gods in its third weekend of DC Comics adaptation slipped to sixth place, with only 4.7, down 49%. Domestic total of only 53 million. Ouch. But my point is, Dungeons and Dragons. Now, I have not seen it, and I was bummed. I had 3 screenings for this thing, and I was going to go see it on Friday morning in the theater. I was going to go buy a ticket and go sit down and go watch it, and I got sick. So I am excited to see this movie. I've been hearing, I haven't heard one bad thing about it. A lot of times I hear either critics, somebody didn't like it that I thought would like it, or I hear a couple different audience members, it was overhyped. I haven't heard that of this movie. I haven't heard it. I heard nothing but great things about this movie, how much fun it was, how funny it was, how charming it was. I've just seen people raving about it all across the board, and I'm really excited to see it. I am seeing Super Mario Brothers tonight. That one I'm excited about. I'll be doing an out of the theater reaction for that tonight. But I really wanted to see Dungeons and Dragons because of what I was just saying beforehand, and that's, I like shaking some things up in the big blockbuster, and I think that we need some more IP in general. And I think that this is and obviously with how popular Dungeons and Dragons is in general, the audience came out to see it and support it. No, it did good, did well. Like the report said, it hit the number that it was aiming at or was reporting it. Some people thought it was going to go far over that, but I think word of mouth is going to keep this thing going. And there's really not much competition coming out in April. April is fairly slow this month. This year, excuse me. April is slower than normally. Back before the pandemic, April was starting to become the spot where the big mother hit, right? Like Endgame hit and Infinity War, Fast and the Furious used to hit in April. I'm surprised Fast and Furious didn't land in April this year. But but April is nothing too big right now. I think like Evil Dead comes out in April, Super Mario Brothers, Air, and there's a couple. I think that new Russell Crowe horror movie comes out, but nothing big. So I think that Dungeons and Dragons could still have some legs because of that. But the other story, John Wick did pretty well. Creed did pretty well. Like that again, going back into my point of yes, recognizable IP sequels. Same thing with Scream, recognizable sequels, but it's outside of the mark of the stuff that was normally doing well in theaters and of the comic book movie genre. So I think that I think movies are starting to kind of come back a little bit more outside of just the superhero genre. So, and then we've got so much. May is just going to be ridiculous. I know we get the trailer for Across the Spider-Verse tomorrow. That's going to be, I'm looking forward to that one. I'm very curious to see how that's going to play, and that movie in general is going to do. I think it's going to do very, very well. All right, before we move on, I'm excited. Guys, we have a new sponsor, and the sponsor, you know it, and we're excited to tell you about Mint Mobile. At this point, you know Mint Mobile. Everybody knows Mint Mobile. They've been catching on, and there's a reason why. Because after years of the fine print contracts and everybody gets ripped off by the big wireless providers, if you learned anything at all, it's that there's always a catch. So I've been hearing about Mint Mobile forever. I've known about them during the SCN Live days, and then obviously they keep catching on and getting their name out there, and there's, again, a reason why. I heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, and you're like, yeah, okay, what's the catch? But after you really get to talk to them and understand them, it makes sense. There's no catch. There's no catch, literally. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they are the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and they pass those sweet savings directly to you. So that was the thing that when I had heard about it, I had done it, and I continue to do it, and there's a reason why that it's catching on, because it's a very smart system. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. I know it's nuts to hear it, but it's $15 a month. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying one for a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless services starting at just $15 a month. So if you want to get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/thing. That's mintmobile.com/thing. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month. mintmobile.com/thing. Pumped that Mint Mobile is on board. Pumped. Massive fan. We've had Mint Mobile in the past, but since we kind of went on our own and doing more things, we were approached by Mint Mobile and very excited to be working with them, and out of all the great things that they've been doing and the way that they've been doing it. So please use that code. Please check it out and make sure that you let them know you found them from the big thing. All right, let's move on. So I got to talk about this story because I'm so curious about it, and that's this 17-hour cut of Martin Scorsese's new movie. There's a report on confirming the inclusion of Martin Scorsese's upcoming period drama thriller Killers of the Flower Moon over at Variety has indicated that the film is running nearly 4 hours. Previous reports suggested that the film clocked in at 200 minutes, 3 hours and 20 minutes, but this would suggest that it runs longer. Either way, it certainly fits in with Scorsese's work of late, with The Irishman, which was 209 minutes, Silence was 161, and The Wolf of Wall Street at 180. It caps off a lot of film run talk in recent weeks, as several films set to hit this spring and the summer are clocking closer to the 3 hour mark than the usual 2. And there's a few other movies that are coming out that are hitting that close to that 3 hour mark. I don't think this is a good move. This is one of my most anticipated movies. I can't wait. I love anytime Scorsese and DiCaprio team up. I'm on board. I can't wait. There's the other one I watched, but again, the other day I watched The Departed with my wife. She had never really seen the whole thing. We watched it the other day. Yeah, it goes back to it. he's not allowed to complain. If this comes out in the theater, he is not allowed to complain and say that the reason why is people don't want to watch cinema anymore. People don't want to sit in a theater for 4 hours. I mean, they just don't. They just don't. And this is coming from somebody who's a massive Scorsese fan. I can't wait to see it. I don't want to sit in a theater for 4 hours. I just don't. I'll pause it, get some snacks, watch it at home. But that's as long as the freaking Snyder Cut. And that was obviously intended for streaming to do that, because you can't put a 4-hour movie in the theater. I mean, look, it could wind up being just epic, but I just think that this is the thing though with, and I forget, was this Amazon? I don't remember. But when you let Scorsese do something where he's like, make however long of a movie you want to do. The director's going to take as much time to tell their story, and it could be a 4-hour movie. Doesn't mean it should be. And I know you can't say things about the legends, right? You're not allowed to say things about the legends. So, well, they know better than you do. As far as filmmaking goes, yeah, of course. Absolutely. But I'm just telling you, as an audience member in the theater, a 4-hour commitment it's watching 2 movies, man, back to back. Your ass gets tired. So I don't know. It could wind up being epic, but I think anything over. I mean, look, sometimes you pick a 3-hour movie and you make it work, and if it's 3 hours and it plays out the right way, fine. But 4 hours that's insane. We'll see. I could be eating my own words and say, look, it needed to be 5 hours. I wish it would have been 5 hours. But same thing. I mean, look, what do they say about Avatar? The Avatar 4 apparently, or 4? What the hell is it? 3? Apparently, Avatar 3 is like a 12-hour cut or something ridiculous. Who the hell knows? We're going to find out, though, everybody. We're going to find out. All right, let's do a couple more stories, and we'll call it a day. Speaking of Cannes, Indiana Jones, that's where it's going to debut. It's official. Cannes Film Festival has announced that the highly anticipated Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is going to premiere at this year's edition of the festival. The Fest has sent out a tweet today confirming that the film will have its premiere there on May 18th. And Harrison Ford will be in attendance and walk up the famed red carpet stairs. Also, coming with him are James Mangold and much of the cast. This is hardly the first time that Indy has shown up at Cannes. Steven Spielberg's 2008's fourth entry in the series also premiered at the festival. Set in 1969, New York, the new film sees archaeologist and adventurer Indiana Jones, now mostly retired. And they had Mads Mikkelsen, who's a NASA member and an ex-Nazi involved with the moon landing program, wishes to make the world a better place as he sees it. Waller-Bridge co-stars as Indiana Jones' goddaughter, Helena, who accompanies him on the journey. Also starring are Banderas as an old friend of Indy, Rhys Davis reprising the role of Salah Holbrook as some kind of villain, along with Shawnette Renee Wilson, Thomas Kretschmann, and Toby Jones. The festival will also pay special tribute to Harrison Ford for his career at the event. Opens up on June 30th. This is my most anticipated movie, and I'm even higher now on Harrison Ford, if that was possible, after Shrinking and 1923. I feel like he's locked in again, and I'm excited to see this one. I love the trailer. I love James Mangold. Can't wait to see how it plays out. The same note that I had for that I hope that they don't do with Marvel is the same thing I say with Indiana Jones. Don't over CGI it. Give me the adventure. Give me the story. Tell me what's going on with Indy and where he is in 1969 and why he's doing what he's doing. I get we're deep faking. I get we're de-aging. We're getting all that and that's fine. But don't get carried away with big over the top CGI big moments like you did in number 4. Get back to what made number 3 so special. And I know there was CGI in the other movies, obviously, but not and not too much where it just looks like a CGI fest. I feel like we got away from that at one point. Now we're kind of going back into it. So anyway, great that it's coming out at Cannes. It doesn't really necessarily mean that the quality is any different. As they said, number 4 debuted there as well. But nice to see that they're going to debut it in May. And I thought maybe they would do something at CinemaCon, but I guess not. I'm contemplating now if I'm going or not, by the way, to CinemaCon. I don't know. It may or may not. I got to check. I might not go. But either way, Indiana Jones, highly anticipated movie for me. Highly anticipated for a lot of people. What do you guys think? Are you excited for that movie? What is the overall audience? How are you feeling about Indiana Jones? I mean, for me, obviously, I grew up in Raiders of the Lost Ark. I remember my dad taking me to see that movie, and it was just it's one of my favorite movies of all time. But I know that doesn't necessarily might not hold up for everybody as the generations come in. So, like, if you're younger generations, you Indiana Jones fan, don't care, kind of care. What say you? All right, last story here. Let's end with a nice one. Let's end with a feel-good story. Paddington 3. I remember Paddington 1. I was like, what the hell is this? Everybody loved Paddington 1. I said, Paddington 2 can't be as good as 1. And it's just as good, if not better. The third one, it's a go. The third film in the Paddington franchise, titled Paddington in Peru, is happening with the start of a filming date set for July 24th. Woohoo! The third film will reunite production companies Studio Canal and Heyday, and it boasts a story by returnees Paul King, Simon Farnaby, and Mark Burton, along with a screenplay by Burton, Foster, and James Lamont. As previously announced, music videos and commercials director Dougal Wilson is making his feature debut, taking over from Paul King, who directed the first two. David Heyman and Rosie Allison will produce. The new film story is under wraps, but it's expected to see Paddington getting into sticky situations in deepest, darkest Peru, where he originated from. Talking about his replacement in the director's chair, this is what King says: after 10 years of working on Paddington, I feel absolutely protective of After 10 years of working on the Paddington movies, I feel absurdly protective of the little bear, and I'm delighted that Dougal will be there to hold his paw as he embarks on this third big screen adventure. His work is never less than astounding. He's funny, he's beautiful, heartfelt, imaginative, and totally original. Aunt Lucy once asked us to please look after the bear, and I know that Dougal will do so admirably. This is great, man. We need movies like this. We need movies like Paddington. Such a sweet movie. Both of them, 1 and 2. And it's not just for kids. People love these movies. My buddy Ryan loves these movies. Alonzo Duralde loves this movie. I think of people like that all the time. And I love these movies. They're great. And I always think of the late, great John Schnepp, who did not know what to expect from Paddington. And he went and saw it and came back and was just like over the moon, telling everybody to go see Paddington. And then the second one comes out and everyone's like, oh, man, it's as good as the first one. So great to have Paddington back. So marmalade it up, everybody. Paddington is back, and it's a good. It's. I remember that when the pandemic was really hitting hard, and people were really worried about the movie business, theaters and stuff, and all that. And I think that obviously it's changed dramatically, but I think that movies in the theater are here to stay, and to see a movie like this in the theater with my kids will be a lot of fun. How about you guys? You excited about Paddington? You think Paddington is deserving of a third film? Did you like the first two? Give me your thoughts. All right. It's good to be back. I'm glad to be back. And I'm happy to be back with doing, a lot of stuff already coming out. As far as trailer reactions, we have the Secret Invasion trailer reaction. We did the Blue Beetle trailer reaction. We're going to have the Super Mario Brothers out of the theater tonight. We're going to have Air out of the theater tomorrow, review of Super Mario Brothers. And then into the Spider-Verse trailer. So there's tons of stuff. Like Barbie's got a trailer coming out. Tons of stuff this week for sure. Then Star Wars Celebration is over the weekend. I'm not going to London, but I'll be covering it for sure. So look for videos there from me. And like I said to you guys, I cannot emphasize enough. If you are in the Los Angeles, Burbank area on April 28th and you can get there, please come and support us. This is basically how it's going to run. We're going to try to sell these out. There's only 175 seats or whatever. We're going to try to sell these out. This one and the New York one and then the Connecticut one. We're going to try to sell all three of those out. And basically what's going to happen is this. If you guys can come out, you can support, you can be there at Flappers on that day, and we pack it out, then we do the next one. Then we do the next one. And if all three of those is a success, then we're going to find a new city to go to. If it doesn't work out and you guys say, I don't want to come see it, then you don't come see us, and that's totally cool. That's how it works out. But I think that maybe what we'll do instead of going out on the road, is because I can't keep paying for clubs, and if people aren't coming out to see it, there's no reason to book out clubs. So instead, what we will do is probably go back to what we were doing, like these after parties that we did in studio, and doing those instead. I would prefer to go out and do some stand up and do some shows, but you got to listen to the audience. So if the audience is, and like I said, I haven't had a chance to promote this damn thing at all since we announced it at the after show. So if you can get there, bring a friend, get your tickets, and come on over to thekristianharloff.com. Get your tickets now. And then, the same thing at that site. We have a bunch of tiers up there. At the $50 tier, you guys know that I'm able to, I'm doing these one-on-one sessions with people where I talk to people about half an hour. There's a limited spot on that one. But then there's also, we opened up a $35 tier where it's unlimited, and you get a 15-minute session with, could be anybody from the crew. It's kind of like a grab bag thing. But go browse around there on thekristianharloff.com. Signing up is free to the actual site itself, and then you could just browse around and look. But that's it. I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad that you guys are back with me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already done it, hit that button, subscribe, check us out on Spotify, all that and more. Guys, thank you so much. We'll be back really, really soon. Tomorrow's going to be busy too, so stick with us, and we'll see you on the flip side.